Man, it's good to see
What's going on,
y'all.
everybody? Welcome to the live broadcast. Don't wait to be great. And I am your host, Mr. Derrick Forston, and super excited to be with you all. Beautiful. Who are you?
I'm Shay Forston, president, founder, co-founder here at Forston Consultants. And listen, we have been going for a minute, Derrick.
Absolutely.
Let's go straight in tonight.
So much to talk about. We just, like Shay said, super excited to be back.
Yeah.
Let us know, guys, if you're here for the first time. I just invited a lot of people over from different forums.
Yeah.
So if you're anywhere where you can only hear us, meaning maybe you're podcasting us, come over to the YouTube channel at Forston Consultants. So that's Forston Consultants. And let me know in the chat if you're new to us. If you discovered us in the last 7 days or sooner, let us know. We want to know about that because like Shay said, we've been away traveling, doing events, doing all kinds of stuff. Most of you all just found me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. Right. And you're sitting here listening to us. But can you imagine 3 to 6 months from today that you have your own facility, right?
And doing big things.
And you're changing the city when it comes to housing and affordable housing. And you also changed the trajectory of your family. But nevertheless, again, guys, my name is Derrick Forston, the proud owner of Second Chance Housing. And that is just simply my personal program, because how dare I coach it and not do it? Right. So Second Chance is my program where we take people from homeless to hopeful. And very simple, because I can take 2 hours to tell this story. But I've been doing good over the last probably 90 days with giving y'all this story in less than 2 minutes. So if you've been knowing me for any amount of time, this story that I'm getting ready to tell, sometimes I can go an hour or two. But watch me tell you my story in less than 60 seconds. Very simple. I used to be a social worker begging God to get into something just like this, real estate and helping people. And God messed around and answered my prayer, y'all. And he showed me a lady that was making 41 grand a month, housing people in exactly what we're going to show you guys tonight. But she was doing it in rats and roaches and in filth and in grime. Like, you should see the places that this lady was housing people in, making 41 grand a month. So the devil is a liar. But as I was saying earlier, God messed around and showed me a lady, y'all, that was making 41 grand a month. Living my dream. Housing people in roaches and in rats and in mice and in filth and in grime. And my folks on TikTok, y'all can see that one picture, but come on over to YouTube because I want to show y'all a lot more tonight, right? Because I'm going to show y'all a lot of these conditions that I saw. Questions on how to start your own housing program without the need to own the property, without the need to have a license from the city or the state, and without the need for a $30,000 sprinkler system. The devil is a liar. We don't need none of that stuff for an ILF. Which is very different from a traditional group home or an ALF. So one more time, man, independent living facilities are what we do and what we teach. It doesn't require a license and you don't have to own the property. If you love God, love people, and love real estate, this is it. So right now, if you text the word new and only to this phone number, if you text the word NEW to 407-326-0086, and that number is scrolling below on YouTube and it's in the chat on TikTok. One more time before TikTok kick me off. If you text the word new, just that one word, if you text anything else, it won't work because my system's automated. Text the word new to 407-326-0086. That's going to give you our webinar, that free web class, but also the free gift, which is called an ILF mini course. It's 15 videos that you must watch before you get started. Don't be like me and face a $40,000 lawsuit and end up on the Channel 8 News, dummy me, because I didn't know what I was doing, y'all. These videos gonna keep you out of the courtroom, keep money in your pocket and off the Channel 8 News unless they're celebrating you. So there's a 404 number that just did it. I can see that. It is that fast. So one more time. That mini course keeps you out of jail, out of the courtroom. It keeps money in your pocket and off the Channel 8 News unless they're celebrating you. Your brother, me, was on the Channel 8 News one time because I didn't know what I was doing, y'all. Not because I was the bad, crummy person like that lady was who was housing people in roaches and rats. Not that. I just didn't know what I was doing, y'all. And it led to a $40,000 lawsuit. That will not happen to you in Jesus' name because you're going to learn from my mistakes. So again, we want to answer a few more questions before we end tonight. But I just want to make sure that you guys have a clear understanding of what this is and know that you can get in it and let no devil in hell, no hater, your neighbor, your sister-in-law, your cousin, or the lady at your job tell you that you can't do this. I thought the same thing. I need a license. I need a sprinkler system. I can have a walkthrough by the state. The devil is a liar unless you're serving people that are not independent. But if they're independent, meaning they cook their own TV dinner, their own bologna sandwich, their own fried chicken, take their own medications, and provide their own transportation, because that's what can get you in trouble when you're trying to start something like this and you're not licensed. Because if the person needs to be bathed, be fed, you need a license for that. I'm housing people that say, Derrick, why are you here, bro? I can cook my own food. Derrick, I can barbecue my own chicken and I don't need you.
Absolutely.
Those are the kind of people I'm housing. So if you're in YouTube and Shay take it over, because this is Shay's house. When I drag my wife, and I'm going to use the word drag just being funny, I dragged her from corporate America.
He pulled me kicking and screaming.
You can't have her no more. God has blessed me and I need some help. And the Bible said, he that findeth the wife findeth the what?
A good thing.
And I found my good thing, which also means all my ideas that I can't put together, guess who they get ran by? Her and my team of VAs. Because God gave me a lot of ideas, but I can't put none of them together, really. I'm not very techie. I'm not the smartest guy in the classroom. I just got a big heart, and I love people, and I love God. And I found out if I merge them two together, game over.
That's it. That's all you need.
Any business in the world if I love God and love people and give God the credit. Because what I'm real smart at too, my daily prayer, God, I decrease so that you can increase inside of me. God, keep me with a small head, not a big head. Don't let me get pompous, arrogant, none of that stuff. Because I'm human. If you pinch me, I'll scream like a baby. So we all got that thing in us that want to take credit in. It's me. It's me. The devil is a liar. The more I give God the credit, the more he increased me. So let that be a gift and a cheat code for somebody here. Stop taking credit for how great you think you are.
And turn it back to the Creator.
Guess what? I'm bad to the bone, and I know it. But I'll be a dummy and an idiot if I didn't tell you where it came from. Because without God, I'm baloney. I'm nothing.
You a bologna sandwich?
Most of y'all think I'm a genius.
Derrick said without God, he's a bologna sandwich.
I'm a bologna sandwich without God.
That's right.
But with God, most of y'all gonna think I'm a dadgum genius, and I'm not. She tricked me to go to college. Through the grace of God, I finished it, and that's what God gave me that job and said, Derrick, look at all your dreams of what you want to do. They wrapped up in this job. You want to be rich? Help these people. You want to get into real estate? Help these people. Let me show you a lady, Derrick, that's making 41 grand a month.
Mistreating my people.
Way past your yearly salary. And Derrick, she mistreating my people. Why not you, Derrick? And lucky for y'all, I'm no crab in a bucket, and I love to teach it. So whether you take my free coaching on YouTube or the ILF Mastery Blueprint or the ILF Legacy, you choose. As Shay talks about her property right here, I'm going to flip through and show y'all pictures. But Shay, once I dragged you from corporate America, what was your play? How did you decide women? How did you decide to buy a house and not rent it like most of us? Take the people
so let's start. I was voluntold that I was going to house women, so it wasn't by choice.
Explain voluntold.
I was voluntold. I said, hey, what am I going to do? And it's like, this is what you're going to do.
I said, babe, I'm no longer housing the women. Congratulations.
So, and again, I really, I'm going to be honest, like entrepreneurship wasn't a thing for me. I was more so an employee, right? But not just a regular lay employee. I had managerial skills.
What's your background in education?
I have a master's in business administration.
How many degrees do you have?
3.
More than a thermometer, as I like to tell people. But
I have 3. I had an extensive set of certifications as well that the Holy Spirit told me to get rid of. So I didn't even, like all of my certifications, I did not renew because the Holy Spirit showed me that I would allow that to take me back to a place that would be self-gratifying. So I literally let them fall by the wayside. And not even long ago, I was tested. so tested to where, you know, stuff happened. And I was like, man, if I would have never gave up my certifications, I could have went back to this. I could have went, you know, and I'm so grateful, like on this side of that journey that we went through,
because it would made you go back to work.
Yeah, it would have, and become somebody's employee and not my husband's, right? But no, so when you that's how I ended up with Housing the Women, right? You asked me to leave, and you asked me several times, and I kept toying with the situation, and I was just like, nah, you know, I just did this huge project. You know, I did this big, huge construction project, and with a multi-million-dollar budget and all of this stuff, and then all these other opportunities are coming my way. I'm getting to go speak at, you know, AORN conferences, and I'm not even an RN, and I'm being invited. I actually got a phone call a couple of weeks ago from one of the coordinators of the AORN conference, and they were asking me if I wanted to come back and do some things, and I was like, I'm not even in that seat anymore. But Derrick, again, self-gratification. You get what I'm saying? It was knowing that God took me to these places and allowed me to do these things, but it was ultimately to help me develop and create things that would benefit the legacy that he placed on the inside of us. So those opportunities, like the construction projects, that just made me a better construction manager for when we did our rehab projects. I kept people on tight timelines because the hospital made me keep tight timelines. So just long story short, it was just when you asked me to leave, I was very reluctant. And it took me about a year to say that it was enough, because Derrick kept calling me, and it was like every week he was saying, I got another house. I got another house. I got another house. And when we got to, I think you called me on house 15. And I was like, but you just got a house last week. So how are you now like getting another house? Like, what are you doing? Like what are you really doing, Derrick? And at that point I was like, okay, before you end up like burning the candle at both ends, I need to go. And I gave Derrick, you know, I said, okay. And I was walking to a huge meeting, and I looked at a calendar as I was passing one of my friend's offices, and I just chose a date, and it was March 31st, 2021. And it just so happened that I that was 90 days from the day that I chose. And that was like a Tuesday or a Wednesday, something crazy. It wasn't a Friday. It was some midweek. And lo and behold, I would have never understood why I chose that day, but it was the Holy Spirit. And that was the day that they shut down all elective surgeries
y'all
due
remember
to COVID. Due to COVID.
It's kind of a blur now.
Yeah. And a lot of things were being kind of held in the hospitals and in the healthcare industry. And I would have really been stretched thin had I not left, because what ended up happening is my assistant manager, they really distributed all of our employees throughout the organization in different departments to make sure that they maintained work. So what wound up happening to the management staff, they had to truly run those departments on their own. So can you imagine me running 3 departments by myself with no support staff, maybe 1 or 2 support staff employees, when I had a lot of team members initially? So it was like, wow, it was a blessing. A true divine setup by God, I'm gonna be honest. But when I did leave and I started my first day, I'm not even gonna lie, guys. The first day with Derrick, I felt wrong. Like I felt like I was doing something wrong.
Fish out of water almost, probably too.
And it felt wrong because we would start our day at like 6:45 in the morning, 6 o'clock, and we would be done before lunch. And I'd be like, well, what else are we doing for the
Nothing.
day?
Let's go to lunch and get something to eat.
I was like,
take a nap.
I was like,
all the
what
things
else?
that you want to do at your job, get something to eat, get full belly, want to take a nap, but you gotta go back to work. She was like, "Oh my God,
like
we're
this is
done,
what it was.
We done for the day, babe."
It was so odd. Like it was uncomfortable odd for me.
Yeah.
Like it was really, I was used to working 12, 18, 20 hours where, you know, Derrick would see me in the morning. When I came home, he was sleeping. You know, he'll catch me right before I leave to go to work again. It was a lot in those roles, but ultimately it was a blessing to be able to have those experiences, even putting together elaborate projects and stuff like that, because it now helps me to collaborate with other organizations. It helps me to, coordinate events. It helps me to coordinate staffing, to create different things that I like, processes, SOPs, different documentation that we need, and be able to run it by the attorneys and it be pretty much completed and just need their oversight for any, verbiage that needs to be fixed. So again, it's powerful, but that was the early stages, right? It was 15 houses, guys, at one point, and that was a lot. Like, that was a lot to manage. That was a lot of personalities. But ultimately, Derrick was like, I don't want to house the women. I want you to oversee that. And it all stemmed from an incident, right? Where one lady, I wouldn't even say a bad assessment. The lady assessed too well. And it caused a lot of conflict. And thank God, Derrick and I were working together. We were traveling together, so he was never at the lady's house by himself. And that covered him in regards to this one resident that we got in. And it really was a blessing because, our other residents vouched for him and was able to, keep his name clear and clean. And ultimately, I was always in his presence when we were at the lady's house. So that's what made the transition very easy for him to say, hey, take these keys. You now run this lady's house. I didn't have a say-so in the rentals, right? I inherited my first rental. I inherited my
first. Here you go, man. Congratulations.
Here's the keys. But I inherited that first rental. The second one was all acquired by me, and that was the Bijou, small and quaint, right? That's what that means, a small, quaint place. And that was a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. And that was fun. The Bijou was fun. I just did a lot of oversight on the Bijou.
For the new people, who is your population? Who did you house in the Bijou?
So the Bijou was
older, younger.
So that house was very unique. It was women, of course, but they were initially, the first year of the Bijou, they were women attached to a program, and the program did pretty much all of the oversight. They just rented the beds from me, and they did everything that they needed to do. I made sure that the property stayed well maintained. And that was my role, right? As the ILF provider, I just provided the beds, right? The beds for the heads, made sure that the power and all utilities were available for them. Then that shifted, and I ended up becoming, once that contract kind of ended, we went into rehab. So there was a lot of recovering ladies that were coming out of recovery. And because this was deep into COVID, a lot of them couldn't return back to the cities and states that they came from. So we did recovery, and that was all older women as well, over the age of 40 plus, and not older, but you know what I'm saying? They were adult women, and that was all over the age of 40 plus. Then we went to, again, it was a mixed population, recovery, and those with mental illness. And then the other property, the other rental was, it fluctuated between women with mental illness. Mm-hmm. Actually it stayed mental illness for a long time. And now I am seeing a really unique mix of the working individual that just cannot, due to life, right? Due to the aftermath of COVID, trying to become more self-sufficient and on their own. And those that they work, they have jobs, they have vehicles, they have all of it together, but they just need that ability to save and rebound from where they were at. And then I also still have the mental health population. So you'll see that in this, your population shift as the community's needs shift. And the partnerships that you nurture and maintain, those needs always kind of change. So that's a part of, my journey in this space. But I will say this.
And how did you get into buying that one property? Did you discuss that already, or?
I didn't. So buying that property, honestly, it was like a unicorn. I'll say this. We always talked about purchasing property. We did purchase property, and we did it for the single family, mom, dad, children. We did that, had that under our belt. But then it got to a point where one of the landlords became very, 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 very greedy to the fact that he knew what we did. We had plenty of his properties, and he just started to get really overzealous in the increases of rent. Like not $100 every year. It would go from $100 to $150, and sometimes it'd be $200, $300 that he was trying to increase the rent by. And that would set me outside of the margin of feasibility for the people I housed. So I had to make a really strong decision on, hey, the market is showing a certain thing. And, we prayed about it, and God really had a homeowner that was in distress. That honestly, that reached out and contacted us because they knew what we were doing, knew that we were into real estate, and wanted to do something that was meaningful for their property. If they were going to sell it, they wanted to sell it knowing that it was going to, one, be in good hands, taken care of, because it was that, like you tell people all the time, you can't rent from the person that's got all of these dreams and memories in their property and think that it's going to go over well with them. But this lady had a lot of dreams, had a lot of memories in this property. And she wanted to make sure that those memories can be expounded upon by this thing that we were doing. And she sold us the property for a very, very, I wish I can find another house on the market for what we got for this house.
At least once a year.
That would be beautiful. I would do it once a year. And we were able to close that deal and do a rehab. And I was able to move the ladies out of the one rental and move them over to a much larger home with much more space. And it now has me on fire for purchasing more properties to be able to expand what the Angela Denise Foundation, Second Chance Housing, and Forston Consultants is doing. Now I want commercial. I told you that the other day. I've been dreaming about commercial property. So I'm just in prayer and asking God, okay, connect us with the right people, the right partnerships, because when he shows me certain things, I have to go in prayer because I know that there's possibly a door opening to get us to that place. But that's my journey, Derrick. That is my journey. I was able to move these young women from a 3.2 to a 5.3 property that is so, I took a family friend. So you all know that the Angela Denise Foundation is in the memory of my mom that passed away 12 years ago. And her close friend was in town. She came to church with us yesterday, and we spent the day together, her and I took her to see Legacy.
Yeah.
And when she walked in that property, she says, "Oh my God."
And just to give you guys a before and after. So the place that you see on screen right now was the before, and this is after. She completely remodeled the roof, the entire inside, the exterior paint, everything was touched in this property except for the floors. And it already had tile
and mild things.
Other than that, Shay pretty much touched everything in this place.
Yeah, okay? We made a room.
So again, before,
all such stuff.
I'll keep going back and forth so that you guys can kind of see the difference.
So see, when you get opportunities, God will always give you those opportunities as learning lessons that you can apply in other situations. But that's exactly what we did. We turned this from a 4-bedroom, 3-bath to a 5-bed, 3 by converting the formal dining room into a bedroom. So it's pretty cool. I love it. This house is a beautiful home, and the women take such good care of it. Yeah. They take I go unannounced.
And that's a must, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Right. So just to answer a question right there, we buy the cleaning supplies, but the onus is on them to keep it clean. Remember, we don't live there. They do. Yeah. So a part of your rules in your handbook that they must keep that place clean.
Absolutely.
But guess what? They're not going to buy soap, detergent, or bleach, or pine salt with their check.
No.
They're just not. So the way that we coach it, I'm going to supply all of that. I'm going to Amazon it. Right? But the onus is on them to keep it clean. So the broom, the mop, the dustpan, all that's on me. Yeah. But in my rule book, I want you guys to keep this place clean. Okay?
So that's pretty much the story of the Angela Denise Foundation. But what I love about my properties and my ladies is the fact that I can I can just pop up with a visitor. I didn't call nobody and say, hey, I'm coming. And when we went in the house, it smelled fresh. Everybody was fresh. The house was clean. The floors were swept and mopped and everything. And my mom's friend was so overwhelmed. And the first thing she said is, let me know whenever you guys do another event or anything. Give me enough time to know, and I will fly out because I want to be a part of the Angela Denise Foundation. Absolutely. That was.
So while you're even on this same topic, answer Miss Lisa's question about would it be better to buy the home or rent it?
I'll say it depends on your finances, right? Where are you at financially? I'll be honest and tell you this. There's some pros and there's some cons to both, right? This year it's been made a full year that we had this property that we've owned. This is our first ILF that we've ever owned. First one we ever owned. All of our ILFs are rentals outside of this one. So, maintenance we take care of, but major maintenance, we don't have to. I don't remember if y'all noticed, I got up from the chair and I took a phone call. It was after 9:00 p.m. Derrick and I left because I kept rushing him to come off of the live because the AC went down.
Oh, yeah.
So guess what? At 9:15, we are rushing to Home Depot.
20 minutes before Home Depot closed by the time we got there.
And we had to buy portable AC units. I spent over $1,400, and this is a property that I own because we were in some severe.
If you don't own it, we call the landlord and they go fix it.
Not even that, Derrick. These are, and I'm gonna be honest.
That's your responsibility.
But here's something that we've always discussed too, as renters, is having these available too. So I would even say, as a renter, if you're in a southern state that gets really hot, and we had really, we had
part of our things that you should buy.
Yeah, we had a significant heat advisory, and that's when the AC decided to go down. And that's, by law, any landlord, if your house is reaching temperatures of 80 degrees and higher and you're not able to contain that or bring that down, drop those temperatures, you need to implement something because that is considered an emergency. And because we were in that high, like we were having some ridiculous highs, like 114, 116, and they had no AC. So when I got that call, we immediately hauled butt to Home Depot and spent $1,400 plus, almost $1,500
so portable AC
on the portable
ACs. That and I'm gonna use the wrong words here, but that little accordion thing that comes out the back that goes out the window,
and it rolls on the floor. Yeah, it's an actual AC unit.
Blows cold air. So there's a difference, guys. We didn't go buy a fan.
Yeah,
this was an actual AC that filters outside that blows cold air,
and we had to buy a lot of them.
Talking about the comfortability that those things bring back.
Yeah.
So hear me say it here now. If you own an ILF, and especially you're in the southern states,
you need to invest
in the northern states, do the opposite. For a heater, but teach safety with it. But not if, it's when the AC goes out, because it's gonna happen. Trust me.
Yeah. So like prime
you
example,
want to have a backup, and like Shay did, Shay got one for everybody's room.
Yeah. Some
people say, "All right, y'all, everybody come to the living room, and we're gonna put one in here." Shay went one step further, and everybody got one in their room. Okay?
Correct. So the other thing too with that, and I'll go back to the question about renting or owning. We teach you to have things in place because you may have slumlords, right, that don't want to do anything. And the goal is that you do the most and the best that you can for your residents, making sure that they're comfortable, that you're staying compliant as a landlord as well, right? Because you have to keep that in mind. You are also a landlord. So you want to make sure that you're staying in compliance as well and having those things, those provisions available for your tenants, right? And the case managers are going to be on you like it ain't nobody's business. Your clients are going to say, well, I'm holding the rent, or I'm going to go to a hotel. And when you fix it, holler back or figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Until I can find something better. But you want to make sure that you're implementing or have things in place as backups to make sure that you keep them comfortable and keep them staying with you. Right. The other thing I can talk about from the homeowner, some of the things I've encountered in the year that we've owned this property, a little bit over a year, is I've had some electrical issues, but thank God for my home warranty. So those things were fixed immediately. Within 24 to 48 hours, somebody was dispatched to come and fix it, even with the AC. But that whole thing is making sure that they stayed cool, because I didn't know how long it was going to take. Normally in Florida, in the hotter seasons, it's harder to get an AC company out. It's very difficult. Yeah, it's very difficult to have people come in, right? So that's my recommendation. I say start where you can afford and then build to where you want to grow. Utilize what I did is with the funds that I had from the houses that I had as rentals, I didn't go crazy on spending, right? I
think those units were, because somebody should be asking, those units were like $250 a unit, right?
Yeah.
If my memory serves me correctly. So I think we got what, 5, 4 or 5?
Yeah.
5. Yeah. So $250 a unit, guys, is a very small number to bring convenience and comfort back to your home.
Yeah.
If your AC guy can't come to 5 days later.
Yeah.
Because what Shay told y'all, and some of y'all gonna miss this, most of y'all, when y'all rent these places, your landlord gonna be a slumlord. He's only gonna care about you paying the rent. Because every other landlord that I have, they don't want to fix nothing. And they only say, Derrick, where's my money on the first? But big shout out to Mr. Brian M. I'll just say that, who's one of my landlords. He texts me at least once or twice a month.
Yeah.
Saying, Derrick, is anything wrong?
Need anything fixed? Yeah.
And I'll put a work on it right now. Oh, I love that kind of landlord.
But that's not always.
But most of y'all ain't gonna get a landlord